Welcome back to the Life of Phys Podcast. I'm your host, Tyson Martin. Today I'm joined by Bryanna Bradley, a Tofino-based surf and outdoor photographer capturing the beauty, energy, and emotion of sport and nature, both in and out of the water and around the world. Professionally trained as a photojournalist, Bryanna's work has evolved into surf and wedding photography, yet documentary storytelling remains at the heart of everything she creates. Drawn to natural light, contrasting color, genuine laughter, and quiet in-between moments, her images are grounded in people, experience, and emotional truth. Her passion for documenting raw feeling and dreamlike visuals has never wavered, only deepened. Bryanna's story is one of resilience, adventure, and authentic storytelling. Following a traumatic brain injury, she embarked on a transformative journey hiking the Continental Divide Trail, an experience that reshaped her relationship with photography, nature, and herself. That chapter became a turning point and a renewed purpose rooted in the presence, perseverance, and meaning. Her journey is powerfully captured in the film Let Me Chase This Dream, and her work continues to inspire through honest, emotional imagery that reflects both the vastness of the natural world and the inner landscape we navigate as humans. This conversation explores creativity born from challenge, the healing power of nature, and what it means to keep chasing the work that feels true. Now let's get to the show.
Hi, my name is Bryanna Bradley. I am a surf lifestyle kind of everything photographer based out of Tofino, BC. I have an affinity for shooting in the water and especially shooting female surfing.
So powerful. Bringing women to the forefront is the goal of the Life of Phys this year. As a lot of people have noticed, I've been reaching out to any female creative who sparks my interest with the work they're putting out, because it's such a male-dominated hot profession.
It is a sport. It's a sport.
Yeah, 100%. And I love hearing the story. I love hearing the struggle, but I also love hearing the, you know what, you're not going to break me. Keep being that way. Like, here I am. Like, I'm just as good as you are. Like, let's go. And then even hearing someone like I had Crystal J. Wright, won the Red Bull Illume. Like, I just recorded with her a week ago, and hearing her talk about the struggles that even as someone who has a name in the field and how she still struggles, like, that's super cool. So, we'll jump in with a little backstory, how you found the camera, how you knew this is what you wanted to do, and when you decided to make the big jump to Tofino and really go after it.
Oh, I wish I had like a romantic story when it comes to photography, but mine was actually quite all over the place. There was a period of time where I actually hated my camera so much that I um tried to walk away from it. So basically, leaving high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. My mom was like, "Maybe you want to work for National Geographic." I was like, "I guess so." Like, sure. So I went to school for photojournalism. And photojournalism is such an important field of work, but it's also, I think, not talked about as much as it should be, that it's really hard on your mental health. It's like a very extremely male-dominated industry. In my opinion, it was quite toxic, and I just wasn't getting the support I needed. I was like 18, 19, showing up to everything you see in a newspaper, which is often quite negative and scary and bad. And so I worked with some really lovely humans and I got some incredible opportunities, but my mental health was really, really, really declining and I didn't know what to do because I was succeeding at something I went to college for. And so after about a year and a half of working in the newspaper industry, I booked a one-way ticket to Hawaii. That's like, I was like, I'm becoming a surf photographer, everybody. And everyone was like, have you ever surfed before? And I was like, not really, no. And they're like, all right, well, best of luck. And
What clicked that switch when you're like, hey, I'm a photojournalist. I'm here to cover all this negativity. You know what? I'm cruising to Hawaii, one-way ticket, and I'm going to hop in the ocean and shoot surfers. That's just
yeah,
what I'm doing.
Blue Crush really like shaped me as a teenager in like a very real way. And I think it was just like I was so, my mental health was so bad and I didn't know. I was like drinking heavily. I had severe anxiety, but I couldn't, it was like not relatable to the people in my life because I was getting front pages of the biggest newspapers in Canada at the age of like 19, and I was doing really great, like for what I thought I was doing kind of good. And so I think I was just like desperate for an escape. And for some reason, that one seemed like I just got, I don't know, I guess I booked it in the middle of the night when things were not great. So I don't think there was any rhyme or reason except like Hawaii sounded nice, and I could still like convince people I was going to be a photographer. But once I got to Hawaii, my mental health was so bad. I learned how to surf. I loved it so much. I just was like a little Waikiki bum and was probably dropping in on every single person in the lineup. I was like a menace to Waikiki. Like it was so bad, but I was like so passionate about learning how to surf. And I grew up in the Ottawa Valley, so I grew up really, really, really landlocked. So I was living my best life, but I was also partying a lot because I was trying to cope. And I never picked up my camera the whole time I was in Hawaii. I think I picked it up maybe once, but I never actually followed through with being a surf photographer at all. And then my mental health just continued to decline. So the worse it got, the more I didn't want to go back to Canada, and I just kept traveling. I moved to Australia, and then I went all over Asia, and then I was in Europe. Like I was just like, but the whole time I was just loving surfing so much, and it was like this really safe place for me when my head was really scary. And so eventually you can only run for so long when things blow up, and I needed to come back to Canada and deal with like the extreme amount of like post-traumatic stress and anxiety that I was coping with every day. I was like really, really, really struggling. And so I feel like I've said I was really, really, really struggling so many times,
But
but
that's, you know, we don't really realize it when we're in it.
exactly.
We have
I
to have that epiphany in that moment that takes us outside of ourselves, and we look over and we're like, who are you?
Exactly. And I think I also was just like having, like, from the outside, I looked like I was like traveling and living this really fun life. But yeah, like every day it was like debilitating, like just trying to fight like what was going on in my head. And so I came back to Canada, and everyone was like, this whole time, everyone's like, when are you coming back? When are you going to be a photographer again? And I was like, don't worry, I'm coming back one day. I'll be, and when I came back to Canada, I finally had to be like, guys, I actually physically can't do it. Like, I'm so scared of my camera. It's been my like partner in crime, and seeing all of this really negative stuff that is affecting me every day. I was like, I don't want to be near it. I don't want to touch it. Like, I'm selling all my camera gear. And my parents were like, just take a deep breath. Like, just chill out for 1 second. They're like, why don't you just put your camera gear away and like you go? I had applied for school for holistic nutrition on the island, on Vancouver Island, because I had learned that you could also surf on Vancouver Island. So I was like, I'm going to trick everyone. I'm going to do a different thing in school, and I'm going to get to surf, and people are going to leave me alone asking when I'm going to start going back to photojournalism. And so I put my camera gear away. I moved to the island, and after my first summer um, in school, I actually came to Tofino because people had been telling me for years to come to Tofino, and I was like, I'm not going to Canada because I don't want to be there. And then, sure enough, I end up in Tofino. I get a job as a surf photographer, and I just like started to see so much beauty in the community that I was in. And all these girls were surfing in this cold water. Like it's not like easy all the time. And I was so inspired by everybody. And I started to notice that like the guys in Tofino were capturing the male surfers in such a beautiful way, but there wasn't really a light on the female surfing. And this was in 2016. So like there wasn't really a light on female surfing in general, especially cold water surfing, because the girls weren't in bikinis. And so it wasn't really gonna sell. And I just was like, you know what? I'm coming back next summer, and I'm gonna have a water housing, and I'm gonna shoot the girls in Tofino. And everyone was like, okay, Sure. Like, best of luck. I was just like a surf instructor and a party girl. Like I was like not really. And I came back next summer and I swam out with my housing and then the rest is history. I fell so in love with shooting surfing that like I was so grateful that I didn't sell all my camera gear and I just think I needed a new route to fall back in love with photography.
Journalism is it's tough. They just released the documentary on Lindsay Adaro.
Okay, I have not.
On not it's on Disney, and she's a war photographer, and like watching her have to leave her kids to go into war, and like being a female in a male dominated sport. I said sport again. but
It is a
like
sport.
but like just being like just watching that, so I can only imagine what it was like for yourself being a young girl and trying to make this name for yourself while being looked down on or talked down to and all of that. So, it's understandable that you decided the camera was giving you PTSD from those experiences.
Yeah, it was interesting. I was just like, I looked really young at the time, and there was only really one regular other female freelancer in Quebec or in Montreal at the time. And I was working for one of the biggest newspapers in Montreal and one of the biggest news wires in Canada. And I would show up, and men would be like, all right, where's your dad? Like, is your dad showing up? And they like thought that I was just like there with my dad on work or like it was just and the women, it's so toxic that the women are not actually nice to each other. Like they were so mean. It was just like I'm not throwing anyone under the bus, but like it was just so hard to find like any sort of support in that. And I did work with some men that like really, really, really had my back. And I think they really just like held um some like responsibility for me because I was also just like in a male-based industry shooting stuff like that. You're like, I want to shoot the biggest accidents. I want to find like the gnarliest story because that's what will get my name out there and that's what will make and that's like such a twisted way to think now. I'm like, oh, actually, I'm just looking for a rainbow and some nice waves.
So do you remember your first experience being in the ocean with your water housing and trying to man, like I have so much respect for surf photographers because it takes so much, and it takes so much ability and strength to be able to not only watch the ocean, know what's happening when you get pulled into a rip, like you've got all of these things, but you're also trying to compose and capture an image. And it's just mind blowing when I think about how crazy it must have been for someone who wasn't used to being in that aspect of photography. You were used to being, on land, shooting, capturing, and then I'm just going to be in the water and you just jump right in.
Well, yeah, I definitely didn't come from a background of swimming. I grew up um dancing competitively. And then I think I took like one swim lesson and they like kicked me out because I like was doing too many backflips underwater and they were like, this girl's gonna drown. So I really don't have like a proper background in swimming, but I think I was just like so determined. So I remember it was like me and my best friend that I was living with at the time, and I was like, I've got this water housing, I've paid so much for it. Let's just like go for it. And she was like, okay. And it wasn't a particularly tiny day, but it wasn't huge. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna leave the housing on the beach and I'm gonna try to swim past this beach break. And in Tofino, it's a beach break. So you're swimming through like layers and layers of breaking waves. And I left it on the beach and I started swimming and I was like, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. And I swam back to shore and I was like, what have I done? I don't like it. But I also know that I like know that when I'm anxious, if I have a camera in my hand and I can look through it, it will really calm me down. It's like kind of separates me from reality. A therapist probably has something to say about that, I'm sure. But I got to the beach, I grabbed my camera, and once I had my camera in my hand, I was so determined. I was like, I can't fail at this. And because I had really suffered with being a failure from walking away from journalism. And so I was like, I can't fail at this too. And I just like popped right out past the break once I had my camera in my hand and I got to shoot with my friend. And I have the photos still, and they are so funny to look back on because I thought I had like really created something special, you know? I was like, wow, like this is really good. I'm really good at this. I was not. Looking back, I'm like, ooh.
But the best part about our first photo is like off to my left, I have my very first long exposure I ever shot.
Cool.
It's horrible. It is the worst photo ever. And like, it's not even good. Like the rocks aren't even sharp, but man, I made that water look good.
Yeah. That's like, yeah, it was, I don't know. I thought I was like, but I was hooked. It was like, as soon as I did that, I was like, all right. I was like the most annoying person in Tofino. I was like, who wants to shoot? We need to shoot it every hour of the day. I was like, shoot. I was teaching surf lessons 8 hours of the day, and then I'd try to shoot in the morning and in the evening. And like, I was just in the water more hours of the day than I was on land.
It's such a, you hear stories like yours or our mutual friend Krista Funk's, and like the love that she has for the water is unreal. The story of strength that she showed, she's queen of the pipeline for a reason. I mean, that woman will stay in the water for 8+ hours a day, capturing amazing stuff. And she just happens to be a really good friend of yours.
She's so crazy. I love her so much. She inspires me so much. And I don't know how she does it. Like the waves I swim in are like the kiddie hill compared to what she's in. Like she is the real actual deal. And yeah, she just has like such a love for the ocean and the love for the people that she's working with as well. Like in the winter when I'm staying with her, she like packs her little Cliff Bars, and I'm like, she's like, yeah, I just won't get out for 10 hours today. This will last me. And she's like, one for me, one Cliff Bar for me, and then I'll share the other one with the guys in the water. I was like, Krista Funk, just eat both Cliff Bars if you're out there for 10 hours. She's like, no, no, I need to share them with the boys. I'm like, wow, this is the person that you are, and that's what makes you so special.
So how did you guys meet, and how did that become this relationship that is hilarious? Because I've heard it from her side. So now we'll hear it from your side.
Well, okay, so me and Krista, I was on the North Shore and I was like shooting a jewelry brand, and this jewelry brand had like brought a couple of um there was like a bunch of us photographers, and me and Krista had some mutual friends. And I remember she was getting out of her car and I just like ran up to her and I was like, "Oh my God, I think you're so cool." And like at this point, like she didn't have a lot of followers. I must have known her through our mutual friends. I was like, "I think what you do is so cool and you're swimming in those big waves and I'm such a big fan of yours." And I just like you're and her face was like, "Oh my God." She was like she was just kind of like she was like, "Okay," like and thought I was just such a weirdo. And we laugh about it all the time now because she was just like kind of shook because I was like really intense. But what she was doing, no one else was doing at the time. And I was just like so inspired by her. And then the next winter, I was looking for a place to live and someone connected us. And so I was living with her. And then that was just like the end of it. We were just like, and it was just so cool because we would like sit across from each other and be like, how should I answer this email from this brand? We never got any work done. We just like assisted each other in answering emails.
And the funniest part is like, if nobody has seen, like, just from the experience I had with Krista for the 2 hours we were talking and how crazy it was, like she got up to show me her first paycheck
Oh my God.
out of the cigar box where she keeps all her valuables. And then I made a joke about, well, you got $15.29. I bet you bought one flip flop and you were good to go. So I can only imagine that at some point, every time she sees you, she does a reenactment of your first meeting and runs up to you the same way you did to her. I can just picture her doing it.
It's something along those lines. We definitely have our quirks between us. People Like when people meet her or me and then they know one of us, they're like, oh man, I can't even imagine the two of you together. Like it must be absolute chaos.
Oh, that's incredible.
Yeah.
So you're on Tofino on the outside coast of British Columbia. It's Canada's surf paradise. You start to shoot there. You're starting to capture people. You're making a menace of yourself by trying to shoot with everyone. And at this point, did you already know Marcus, or was this just on your way to meeting Marcus?
Yeah, no, I knew Marcus. I was obsessed with him as well. I think I had a similar experience with Marcus. That's for sure. Like honestly, I was so annoying that like I hate thinking about that. I love thinking about that version of myself because I was hustling. But like, yeah, I give myself the ick thinking about that.
But your career has been no slouch either. Like when I look through your Instagram or your website and I see the people and the images you've produced and what you've done, it's very incredible, and you should be very proud of yourself.
Yeah. Surrounded by, sorry.
I know you're about to say but I'm always surrounded by great people, but it takes a great photographer to capture great moments,
Oh,
and you're doing a great job at it. So keep it up.
wow, that means so much. I was gonna say that, but I was also gonna say when you hang out with like Krista and Marcus, who are like the most incredibly driven people that like what I literally said the other day, I was like shooting at the same break as Marcus, and he was just like running around, and I was just laying on the rocks eating some snacks. And then the person next to me, I was like, sometimes I think I work hard, and then I see Marcus, and I feel like I've never worked a day in my life. Like, so sometimes that is like, that's kind of what I was like, "Ugh, sometimes I don't feel like I'm working hard enough."
You have a documentary out about you,
Yeah.
about some fun experiences you've shared and had in the water.
Yeah.
Um, Now, is the full documentary, is that available anywhere?
Not yet. It's gonna be a slow film festival tour that we're gonna do. It will probably be available in the next year and a half or so.
Okay, awesome. So do you want to talk us through a little bit of how that documentary came to play, and let's let people know the story.
I always feel so awkward talking about it. We've been working on it for like almost, I guess, 3 years, and I like still feel uncomfortable talking about it. When people are like, "What's the documentary about?" I'm like, me."
Well, that's human nature. It's always really hard to talk about ourselves.
Totally. So basically, do you want me to give the whole story? Do you want me
Yeah,
to paint the picture?
paint the picture.
I'm gonna paint the picture. Here we go. In 2022, I was coming out of COVID, had been in like the depths of like recovering from an eating disorder, and I was like, here we go. We're making a comeback here. It's my second wind. I can't wait to get back into surf photography because I felt like I wasn't really like in it for a few years or a couple years, just like through COVID. So I'm in Hawaii, then I go to Mexico, and while I'm in Mexico, shoot like the days leading up to the Mexi Log Fest, it was like not a big surf day by any means, but it was really busy, and there was like these double up waves that were coming in, which I should have known to get out of the water. There was a real million reasons why I shouldn't have been in that water that day. But I was like, what else am I gonna do? I'm here to shoot surfing. I'm gonna keep swimming, and how bad could it be? Anyway, a double up wave came. I swam under the first wave, not knowing there was a wave right behind it. And as I was coming up for air, a surfer going full speed in the most steepest section of the wave hit me before my eyes were open. Um, and I broke the nose of his board off with my skull, which I think is like the coolest part. Yeah, I ended up with a pretty significant concussion. My brain like ricocheted off the other side of my skull and started bleeding, which I think is like kind of insane. And yeah, I was just in Mexico alone in my Airbnb with the brain bleed and a traumatic brain injury. And it took
Two,
me a really
two
long time
great vacation partners.
right? I mean, I could go into much more depth about that injury, but I don't think that that's really that important at this moment. So basically, hit my head. It could have been so much worse than it was. It like hit right beside my eye, right beside my temple. I didn't break any facial bones. I went back to my Airbnb alone for 4 days with a brain bleed. Like, I just am the luckiest girl in the whole entire world, truly. And it took me a really long time to recover. I used all sorts of modalities to kind of get back on my feet, and I took my recovery extremely seriously. And about a few months after I hit my head, I was like, holy smokes, there's nothing like getting smoked in the face to really wake you up into like what you want from this life. And since it was 2022 and since like 2016, my whole life had revolved around becoming a surf photographer. Like every dollar I made got put back into being going on trips. Like I was scared to leave Tofino half the time because what if there was a swell, or what if I missed a call that I could have shot? Like my whole life was my career. And once I hit my head, I was like, there's actually more. I don't have to just be one thing. I could do all the things I want to do. And something I'd always wanted to do was do a long through hike. And so yeah, decided exactly a year. I think it was off by a couple days, exactly a year after I hit my head. I walked from Mexico to Canada along the Continental Divide Trail. And in the documentary, it really like touches on how I was like fulfilling this dream of like doing this really hard thing. And it brought me so close to myself and taught me so many things about myself that like the dream that I had was better than I had always hoped, like once I lived it out. But it was really hard. And in the film, I talk about how I felt like quite displaced from the ocean once I hit my head. And even though I was in the water and still working, I didn't feel like I really belonged there. And that's what always felt like home. So it touches on like a lot of different topics. Topics is the word I'm looking for, I guess. And then it finishes with me um kind of rediscovering my like joy and my passion for being in the water and surf photography, and that yeah, I can belong walking for thousands of kilometers at a time, and I can also still be in the water shooting surfing and it just be just as meaningful. And yeah, that's what it's about.
What was that Mexico to Canada walk like?
Oh, it was hard. It's really hard.
I know
I
people who've cycled it from Banff
Yeah,
to Mexico, but
totally.
like I couldn't imagine walking that far.
Well, it's funny, like about 2 months in, you like start to see the cyclists, like some of that path crosses over where I was walking. And they'd be like, yeah, I'm about 6 days to the Mexican border. And I was like, I'm walking for like 2 months. Mexican border. I was like, what am I doing? Uh, but yeah, it was incredible. I could talk for hours and hours about that experience. But yeah, I wanted to do the PCT originally, which is like a very busy and popular and quite well trafficked um, through hike. Still, obviously, any through hike is challenging. It's the mental game, truly. But there had been so much snow on the PCT that year that I was like, I can't do the PCT. I don't think I'll be able to finish it. It just looks too challenging. So I decided to do the CDT, and it still had tons of snow, and most people quit. And it was like there was days and days and days where I didn't see other people, and it was the most hardest thing I could ever imagine doing. But I think the coolest thing was that like I'd had to work on my mental health so much through um like anxiety and eating disorder, and then recovering from my brain injury really, really like prepped me for having a mentality that I could do something like that.
Well, it's a great accomplishment.
Thank you.
It's not an easy feat by any means. I mean, I've ridden when I was 18. I rode from Vancouver back down to the Oregon coast on my bicycle, and
That's in
there was no real routes at the time, and you just kind of tried to make it and figure out how you could get there without being killed by a car. And
that's that's
I
insane.
but at 18 it was easy. You know, that's the thing is like you have endless energy.
Totally.
And now last year I got caught riding my bike home in the rain and got a saddle sore and ended up in the hospital for 4 weeks with staph and off work for 10. So, like something I've had hundreds of in my lifetime as a cyclist, basically
Yeah.
one almost killed me.
Oh my
And two was like, still to this day, I struggle to get back on the bike because I'm like, is it going to happen again?
Totally.
If I
Yeah.
don't have income for 10 weeks again, I'm in trouble
Yeah.
because there's everything that was saved is gone. So, you know, that's why I find it so inspiring and so powerful that through that brain injury that you jumped back in the water and you were like, no, this is who I am and this is what I need. And there's something healing about the water.
Totally.
As an indigenous man, I thank Mother Earth for almost everything. When I shot wildlife and captured a beautiful animal, I would always thank the animal for that moment, or a beautiful sunrise, sunset, waterfall. It's not a given. It's something that we are shown and shared with us through, the creator and everybody else. So for me to thank them, everybody used to look at me like side-eyed, like, what? Did you just thank the bird? I'm like, I did, because it gave me a moment that I'll always remember. So,
Oh,
the inspiration that you're going to show so many people through your documentary and through the work that you put out, it's very incredible. And you should be very proud of coming back and being willing to share that story with people.
that means a lot. Thank you. Because it definitely, every time I have to sit down and watch that documentary, I'm like, please, somebody, just like, maybe I want to try drugs. I'm not sure.
You don't want to do that.
No, I don't.
I'm excited.
Nobody
I
wants
haven't seen it yet. I've only seen, like I said, I saw the Sea-Doo part
that. Oh,
that came out. So I'm excited to see it. It's one of those things where it's different now. I mean, I feel like, we're friends now. So it's a different experience when I watch it now because I look at it from a different view, not just somebody watching the documentary for the first time, but as someone who's talked to you and got to know you, I see it from, you know, friend eyes where I'm like, wow, like this is incredible. And so whenever it becomes available, please let me know.
I absolutely will. And yeah, I think it actually it's gonna be in the film festival route, so it might be playing in Vancouver or something in the
Okay.
so I'll keep you in the loop.
Yeah, let me know because I'll definitely go see it.
But even like these conversations where people are like, I want to see it, I'm gonna come see it. I'm like, oh no, it's not a big deal. Just like at your at your leisure, maybe if it pops up on your YouTube one day.
But the thing is these are people that are very supportive of what you do and they really want to be there to support your journey. And that's a big part of what this whole brand of the Life of Phys was I used photography. I really think photography healed my soul, and that's what Phys stands for. And
Yeah.
it really feel like it put me in a place where I could finally come out of a shell growing up in the 80s where I had to be tough and I couldn't have emotion. And this is what was bred into every man from the 70s to the 80s to the 90s is you can't show weakness because then you're weak. Well, no, that's a crock of shit. And now I'm 2 years into this journey of being able to be myself when I speak to people here, through therapy and medication and all of the things I used to, just shake my head at. Like, I don't need that. It's made such a difference in my everyday life.
That I can really relate to that. Everyone, whenever I say this, people kind of like their eyes go wide and they're like, excuse me. But I really feel like when I got hit by that surfboard, it hit me in the right spot. And it like really like I think that so when just for an example, when Cristobal, the man who made this film, incredible filmmaker, when he approached me, we were kind of acquaintances at the time, and I was just telling him my story, and he was like, "Oh my gosh, we need to make a film. This is a no-brainer." And I was like, "Okay, you can make a film, but like, I'm just an average girl. Like, and I really truly am. I'm a girl from the Ottawa Valley, and I just like." I haven't done anything that no one's done before. Like people have hiked the CDT, people have shot in the water. And I was like, if we make this film, the only thing that's important to me is that you make it so that it is relatable to everybody. So that like somebody can be watching it and be like, oh, if that girl can do that, I definitely can do it. So in the film, I like really let everything down. There's like snots coming out my nose. I'm crying. Like I haven't brushed my hair. There's one scene where I'm like trying to brush my hair. I've obviously haven't brushed my hair in like days. Um, and I really wanted it to be that way. I wanted to feel like it was completely authentic to who I was so that other people could relate to just like a normal person trying to follow a dream, you know? I didn't want I don't want like me to be cool. I didn't want to be
You want it to
cool.
be real.
I wanted it to be real.
And that's, you see a lot of things where you're like, it feels like it's been sugar coated. It feels like it's been, the makeup's been put on it. And
Yeah.
I think a documentary needs to be so real that you feel it,
I
you
hope
know?
people, because I just, the only thing I wanted was like, I was like, if we work on this and one person gets off the couch and does something they never thought they could, then like my job here is done.
Yep.
That's
That's
all I
crazy.
want.
I feel the same way about this show because if I touch one person in a way that they can see they're not alone and that their journey is no different than some of the biggest people in the field that they look up to on the internet,
Yeah.
um, then I did what I could and I did what was needed and I reached that person, and that's the biggest accomplishment. That is the biggest thank you I can ever have. I got an email not long ago from a guy. Can't remember what episode I was in, but I said while I was in the hospital, I had a lot of time to think, and I realized I have more time behind me now than I have left ahead of me. I have more days gone than I have coming, and I owe it to the people in my life to give them the best version of me. And that was such an epiphany. And I stole part of that from Marlon Wayans, the comedian, because he said something very similar. Because people call him selfish, and he's like, "But I got more time behind me than I have left ahead of me. Why is it my job to worry about you?"
Yeah.
Right? And that was eye opening. And I got an email about it, and he was talking about it. I needed that so much today. And it hits you, and you're like, okay, cool. Like I'm doing this with a difference. People are seeing that I'm actually trying to build a community of people. I'm not just trying to do this to get likes or follow or make money or any of that. Cause I can tell you, I don't make a penny, but I work it like it's a full-time job with overtime, and I'm very fortunate. My kids are older, so they all understand. They just leave me be and let me do my thing. And like I was editing this morning before we talked, and now we're talking. And then after this, I'm going to go and cry on the couch for a bit and get back to it
Why are you crying on the
because
couch?
I'm tired.
Yeah, I cry all the time when I'm tired. But I think that that is when you show up as your authentic self, I think that that's when the good things start happening. And I think we're all very lucky that you're doing this because I'm sure you're inspiring a lot of people.
I hope so. And I love the stories of the people. Like I always have the list on my computer, and I look through who I've spoken to, who I've been just so lucky to have give me the time of day. And it inspires me, especially like this year with all the women that are just killing it. Like really the first action sports female photographer I had on was Sarah Kepner, and her story just opened doors for, I think, for the women feeling more comfortable to come on because they heard hers, and she was very timid about it. And I sent her the copy, and she sent me a message. She's like, "Oh my God, I absolutely love it. Thank you so much for giving me the moment." And that, to me, that's the coolest stuff, right?
That's so cool.
And
Yeah.
then, then I had Krista get mad at me because at some point in my life, I'm going to be on the North Shore taking photos from the beach, and I didn't touch base first.
She would. She would.
Yep. So it's been really fun year with this show because I'm doing a lot more of what I'm passionate about, action sports, mountain biking, surfing, skateboarding, and really getting to know the people behind the lens, right? So that to me is really cool. Um, and like share your story, like your story with coming back from what you came back from, but you're still loving it, you're still laughing, you're still having a blast. You can't ask for anything better than that in an episode.
Oh, that means a lot. I was actually thinking while I was getting ready for this today, I was like, dang, like when I was coming into photography, I wish there was something like this. Uh like I really lacked. And I think that that's why me and Krista and me and like Sarah Lee and other water photographers I connected with at the very
Sarah Lee
beginning,
hasn't answered my email yet.
uh, because
Just
she's incredible.
yeah, she's on the
Okay.
list. Chris is supposed
Um,
to go after
okay, well, I'll go too. We'll
her.
both be on the case. But I think that I would have loved to have something like this. So even as a resource for other people, I think what you're doing is just going to be really beneficial. And yeah, I like touching on the mental health aspects, but also just touching on like the resource of finding community in shooting anything is a little bit scary, no matter what your niche is, whether it's wildlife or landscape or surf or, snowboarding. It's always nice to know that other people are doing the same thing.
Yeah. So now that you're established and you have your go-to everything, you're shooting, you're doing weddings, you're doing lifestyle, you're doing brand work, commercial work, surfing, this, that. I'm tired just saying them all. You have any
My
words
mom
of do you have any words of wisdom for people listening, like trying to get started doing some of the things you're doing already, just to help them avoid some pitfalls?
I kind of go back to my old things. Like I've said this since the beginning, and we even talked about this, is I don't think it matters what you're shooting on. I don't think that gear is what's going to make or break your career. I think if you have a passion for what you're doing and you really truly believe in it, just pick up a camera and start taking photos. And it doesn't matter if it's with your friends or if it's with a professional athlete, just like we all have excuses. I have a gazillion of them that I use regularly, and they don't do any good for me. But I would say, stop making excuses and just start living your life. And it's going to be really good.
Believe in yourself.
Believe in yourself. And also, like what we said, is like be authentic to who you are because people are going to be drawn to that. Once you
Yeah,
start being authentic and you stop caring so much, that's when the good stuff starts to happen.
100%. And I've noticed it since I started this show. I've been very fortunate. I've got a lighting sponsor right off the rip, second episode out.
So
So yeah,
congratulations.
so I've got amazing lighting, and but just in that relationship with the lighting brand, the CMO has become a personal friend, like a close friend, a business coach. She's been incredible. Her name's Kieran Carnani. Um, and I don't think she gets the flowers she deserves in this industry, but if you ever see somebody post something about her, the comments from hundreds of people thanking her for her love and wisdom and her time, it's unreal. And that's the kind of community I want to continue to build. I want to make it so there's a young girl in Vancouver and she's like, man, I want to go to Tofino and shoot surf photography, who might happen to hear this and reach out to you and go, hey, I have no clue what I'm doing. I heard your episode and I would love to, if you have time, to get some pointers,
Totally.
and that's what the world should be about. It should be about us sharing our passion, our skill, and our experiences with those who want to do it as well. Because you could be right next to each other in the water and your photos are going to be so different
And I think that I know we've talked about Krista a gazillion times,
because she's
but
the best.
he's the best. And I think that like our relationship is so interesting. I actually met with someone recently and he was like, I was like, yeah, we have a film out, we each have our films out right now and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, you guys still sit at the same dinner table? And I was like, absolutely, because what she does is so different to what I do. Like she wants the big waves, I want the small waves. And even if our work overlaps, we are still sending brands and people each other's way. Like all we want is for each other to succeed. Like I think that that is the coolest part about our friendship. It's like we're working in very different lanes, but also some of the similar lanes, and we're still like each other's biggest fans.
Yep. And that's all you can ask for. And that's what shows people that you don't have to go in. Like I go to things and I watch some photographers stick their nose up in the air, or, I'll walk into an event and people recognize me from the show and that I've talked to their friends, and they'll come up to me and be all excited. And I'm just me. I'm just a dude who's trying to share the love of what he loves to do. And, like I will help anybody. If anybody in my list of people that I've had on goes, hey, I need a second photographer, I need this and that, and I'm here. If I can help connect people, or if I can help get lighting kits to them to do the job they're doing, I'm for it.
Oh, I love that.
So
We're lucky to have you.
it's amazing. So I'm looking forward to actually making it out your way. I would love to do some portrait work with you and Marcus, and I've got a couple ideas that are going around in the old head of mine. So it's very important to capture the people who are making a change and are willing to help others achieve. So if we can work it out through, because there's so many. I mean, Murray, like everybody is just so talented.
So much talent out here. It's
And
mind blowing.
and I mean, you start reading the list of who people have worked with, yourself, Marcus, Murray, like you're like, oh my God. But there's still, I don't know if it's a Canadian thing that we still don't get the recognition we deserve. Could be the fact that our whole country has less population than California, but so I want to see everybody succeed. So I would love to. I have a project that I'm working on with Harlow Lighting coming up in January, and it's called Photography Heals Your Soul. It's just a portrait project.
Oh, wow.
So I'm going to take a light that they released called the Soul. So it kind of works together.
Okay,
And it's basically this amazing ring light that's magnetic. And I'm going to go to towns all through BC, and I'm going to reach out to the photographers that are there. And I'm going to capture a portrait, a candid portrait with this light to share in a video project that they're putting out.
wow, that's gonna be so cool.
So yeah, it's going to be neat. But then I'm going to hand the light off to the photographers that I take photos of and be like, cool, I'm here for 3 days. I'm going to get the light back in 3 days. Go have fun
Oh my
and go
God.
capture the tourists and capture the people.
Yeah.
Right. So then it's not just about me. It's about me and Bryanna and Marcus and all the other people that I'm going to work with, Murray and everybody that captures a moment for this project.
So cool.
So I'll be in touch with you about that one for sure.
Yeah,
I think it'd be
can't
awesome.
wait. I
Um,
cannot
sorry?
I cannot wait. I love when my favorite thing is when people are excited about something they're working on. It's like contagious.
Yeah. And that's the coolest part. You want it to be contagious. I literally got off of my episode with Krista, and it was late here. I mean, I think it was 11 o'clock at night by the time we ended. And I was like just amped about how it went because it was so much fun. We
Love it.
started with their dog going missing.
I know. She's still like, Zazu was like missing. I was like, oh my
And then she found him eating a bird.
God, the best dog ever. I love
He's pretty awesome. But yeah, do you have anything coming up that you want to share with the people?
Not really. I actually had a very crazy, I've like continued just mixing photography and following things that I wanted to do. And so I took some time off this summer and did some like rogue, unhinged trips. And I really want to be home for the winter, which I normally would spend in Hawaii, but I just was in Hawaii for a couple weeks and I'm like, I think I need to be home for a little while and wrap up some projects I'm working on here. And then come spring, I might go back to Hawaii and I'm going to do the Arizona Trail and then I'll be here for the summer. So
That's
nothing
incredible.
massive.
That'll be a ton of fun.
I'm super, super excited. There's like some photography projects and other projects that I've had on the back burner for years and I've just made excuses and I'm ready to tackle them. So I'm excited to be home this winter. And there's something so special about being in Tofino and just being miserable with everybody together and getting to capture like how just insane the surfers are here.
Yeah. But just even watching the waves come in and the
Yes. Yeah.
storms start hitting, and it's just, I hadn't been back to the Oregon coast for when I went back the October. So that same October I got sick. I was in the Chilcotins for my work trip. So I build off-road trucks for a living. So we do a customer appreciation tour every year. So we stay at Tyak's Lodge and then go and take them through all the Chilcotins on the trails.
That's so cool.
Yeah. So then I did that. I came home and it was Thanksgiving weekend coming up. So we hopped in the car, and I love the Oregon coast. My grandparents had houses from Astoria all the way to Newport, and I grew up down there, as I'm wearing a Goonie shirt right now. Um, so we drove, oh, it's the best movie ever. We drove down to Olympia, shot over to the 101, and then we went down the outside passage all the way into Astoria, spent some time in Astoria, and then we ended up in Lincoln City is where I spent most of my childhood. And I fell asleep with the window open because we rented a hotel with the beach out the back door. And just to hear those waves crashing,
Yeah.
it brought back so many memories and rekindled my love of the ocean and rekindled my want to be at some point in my life to live back home. Whether it's, next year, 10 years from now, I don't know, but it needs to be where I'm still young enough to enjoy the water.
Yeah.
Right. So that's on my goal list, is to capture more moments on there. But I was also talking to an Australian guy named Trent Mitchell, who's a surf photographer as well, about like stories. Like he did this book called Australian, what's it called? Can't remember the name of the book now, but it's a super cool book, and it's memories of his childhood. So he redid Roots with his parents and captured all these amazing photos. Australian Luster is what it's called. And it made me think of all the times I went out with my dad and went fishing, and we went through all these crazy little small towns. And I was like, I should go capture those memories
Ah,
and
that's
see
so
if I can
cool.
relive it, So
Yeah.
lots going on.
So I also think that there's just like something so healing about being in the water that like it for me like I feel very creative when I'm in the ocean because it like pushes me and it's a little chaotic and yeah, I feel like you'll be very inspired
I,
when
I,
you live by the Oregon coast.
I'm hoping. And I mean, I love Tofino. I love Ukilit. Some of my best memories with my dad was going fishing out of Ukilit.
Yeah.
So I just, I need to be by the ocean. Like I grew up in Vancouver. I was 20 blocks from the beach.
Oh wow.
And then, 35 minutes from Grouse to go snowboarding. So I had like everything right there. And here you're like, doesn't matter what direction I go, I'm 2 hours to
Yeah.
to a good mountain, and then I'm an hour and a bit to the beach. Unless I go
Yeah.
to White Rock, which is 15 minutes away, but it doesn't count. Any final words of wisdom you want to share with people, and then let them know where the best place is for them to connect with you?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Do you think I have any final words of wisdom to share with people? I don't know.
I
I
think you
feel
do.
like I just like yapped away for this whole. I looked at the clock. I was like, oh my gosh, that went so fast.
It does, and we're going to be doing we'll be doing a follow up next year as well.
Oh, are we?
Yeah, because so part of the problem I find with most podcasts is they talk with a person about a project or something going on, and you never hear a follow up. You never know if it came out. You never know if it.
Yeah.
So I've started recording my last year follow ups to release. So from the 20th to the 25th of December, the Christmas run, I'm going to do a follow up episode every day.
Amazing.
Right? Let people, hey, like this, we talked about this, but this is what I'm doing now. And it's neat because it's changed quite a bit for some people.
Yeah.
And I think you have lots of words of wisdom. I mean, you have to think like what you're doing and the way it's going to inspire others, men, women, kids. I mean, you've worked with Girl Swirl, which I think is the coolest program ever. Val LaForge is like someone I've tried to get on the show. because she is so inspiring for so many people.
And just so
So,
many, like all the girls from Girls World, it's just they're so successful for a reason.
and I'm a girl dad. I've got 3 daughters, so
Amazing.
and 3 sons, bunch of jerks. I have lots of children.
Love it. Love it.
But I think whether you want to share any more words of wisdom, I just want you to know that you are inspiring the world. You are inspiring so many of the next generation to chase their dream. And a lot of those dreams aren't easy to come by.
Yeah. I think, okay, actually, I do have something to say.
Uh-oh. Words of wisdom.
Words of wisdom right here. I think like the biggest thing for me that I wish I knew when I was first starting um surf photography is that it's okay to be scared, and there's so much strength in facing fear. Like fear is our biggest tool for moving forward. And I think that that's been something I have really been kind of keeping in my back pocket a lot recently is like fear doesn't have to be a bad thing, and it's okay to be afraid and still do it anyway. And I think that that's my word of wisdom. That's the last thing I have to take from this. And if you see the documentary, you'll see that I really, really live by those words because I'm a girl that's afraid of everything and I still somehow do it.
That's incredible. Part of what I tell people when I really get into, like today's conversation was amazing. It just flowed like we've known each other forever.
I know.
And,
Have we met before? I'm not sure.
right? But I say a lot of times, like, I really, it's, I'm leaving the inspiration for the women creatives up to my female guests because you guys live that and go through it. But if I can take that hard and tough exterior of a male guest and just let them know it's okay to not be okay, that it's okay to ask for help and it's okay to go and talk to a therapist and it's okay to take medication even when you want to be that toughest guy in the world. I did my job, and hearing you say those same words, and that's going to resonate. I couldn't ask for a better episode. Thank you so much.
You so much.
You
We're
know,
so grateful that I got to come on here and chat,
yeah, I
especially
was
with,
glad you finally saw it.
yeah, my gosh, I'm so bad. I have this like really big issue in my life where I answer emails and texts in my head. I swear I don't know how I have any friends because like I'm just like 3 weeks later, I'm like, well, I answered this in my head, not in person, not in real life.
Yep.
So that's probably what happened. And then I lost you in the emails, which
Where I think I sent you twice. I think it's probably the second one I caught you on.
sorry.
All
I'm
good.
so
No,
grateful that you persevered.
it was worth it, right?
I'm so
Um,
grateful.
where's the best place for people to find you?
Honestly, probably Instagram. It's where I like will keep everyone kind of in the loop about where the documentary will be, what I'm up to, where I'm at, that kind of what my bookings look like if I've got availability, where you can find my most recent work because my website is not updated.
The bane of all photographers.
It's my winter goal. My winter goal is to deal with my archives and
What winter? 2028?
maybe this winter. Don't you believe in me?
Oh, I fully do, but I also know what it's like to have to work on a photography website.
Yeah, it's not going to be fun.
Mine
But I
had
can,
the landing page for 2 years.
yeah, that might be kind of mine has not been updated in like probably 4 years. I look at it, I'm like, oh, touchy.
And if there's anybody you think I should have on, I I love talking to all people who are creative. And if you have any recommendations, just fire me an email.
I absolutely you will be hearing from me.
Amazing. And then yeah, when I'm going to make it over to Tofino to do this project over there, I will let you know to make sure you're around so we can capture your portrait and we can have some fun with this light kit on the island.
Amazing. I cannot wait. I'm so excited. I feel like we'll just be chatting the whole time now.
Oh, it's all about fun. And that's the thing is we can just have a blast. We can just
Love that.
chat and that will make everybody who comes up to the light more comfortable because we're having a good time and they'll
Yeah,
relax and we'll capture true authentic portrait on the streets. Right.
I'm
So,
so excited.
and as our friend Krista always says, keep on funking on. She brought up her blog and told me about all of them. So I told her I would use as many as I can.
Oh my gosh, that's so good. We all have those old blogs that we just wish they never existed, but sometimes have to refer back to.
I think that's everything we need. I mean, it was great. Fantastic. Thank you for coming on again. And I'm glad we could make it finally happen, and that you looking forward to seeing what you put out over the next year or two.
Thank you.
Well, enjoy the rest of your day. And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for your time. And I really, truly mean it. We're so lucky to have you, like,
Thank you.
pushing and sharing stories. And I can't even imagine that one email. I'm happy someone sent you an email, but I'm sure that you're inspiring people all the time.
Thank you for tuning in to the Life of Phys Podcast. I hope today's conversation brought you insight, inspiration, or just a fresh perspective on the creative journey. If you enjoyed the episode, be sure to follow, rate, and leave a review wherever you listen to podcasts. It really helps us grow and reach more listeners like you. For updates, behind-the-scene content, and more, please follow us on all social medias at LIFE_OF_PHYS. And don't forget to check out the show notes for links and resources from today's episode. Until next time, stay curious, stay creative, and keep living the life of creativity.